Well, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? This is directed at teachers, parents, and students. Are you ready? Well, some of you may be, or think you are, and others are sure hoping they will be right now. Well, stick with me to the end of this episode and we will see how ready you really are. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to my podcast. I am Dara and I am your host. If you've been following me already, I appreciate your dedication for listening to me. And if you are new here, I am so glad that you came back to listen. This is a place where we believe you are created for a purpose, on purpose, and have a purpose to make a ripple and wave or an impact in others' lives. Like I said, I am so glad that you're here with me today. I know I kind of started off today with a very simple question, but some of you out there are ready to embark on a new school year, and you are definitely asking yourself this question with great inflection right now. Trust me, I know I was an educator in the public school and private sector for over 25 years, and I know those three words very well. So I know the stress of those words. They range on your mind like crazy. They take up your mind and it starts getting louder and louder and louder, those three words, until the first day of the school comes. For me as a teacher, my being ready meant endless things. It meant endless hours of workshops that often did nothing but delay me in getting my classroom ready. I'm sure I hear an amen from a lot of teachers out there right now about that. It meant hours of preparation of lesson plans and bell ringers and forms and paperwork and setting up my classroom for being ready to move in, getting it all set up. After about the third or fifth time my classroom has been moved over the summertime. Then the time it takes to just sit and pray over my students that I'm going to have for the year, and to take the time to figure out what I'm going to teach, how I'm going to teach it, plan it out to make sure that all of my students are getting what they need, to figure out all the different modalities to cover, to make sure even ones that have learning disabilities and challenges will be able to understand and get what I'm teaching in my classroom, be a part of my classroom. That's what it meant to be ready as a teacher. But on the other side of it, as a parent, it meant a lot of other things. It meant school supplies, endless school supplies. It's my favorite thing that my daughters love, though. I can say, even though they're grown now, they love when school supplies come out every year. It's so funny. But it meant new school clothes because, for some reason my kids didn't ever want to stay the same size, and inevitably I had to be able to buy new clothes for them. Sometimes they had more of a growth spurt than I anticipated, and it was new shoes because one of my children, my oldest son, had a bigger foot than he had height at one time in his life. But it also meant dealing with things like ARD meetings and teacher meetings and open houses, and just trying to get your kids aligned with their classrooms and their schedules and all of those things. That's what it meant. I'm sure you parents out there can relate to all of that. Some of you are out there, right there in that mode of doing all that right now because school is approaching next week or in the next couple of weeks. And some of y'all don't start school until after Labor Day, which I know that you are really glad about. But then there are the students. Are you all ready? I am sure if I could hear you, the majority of you would give me a resounding, clearly defined no. For one, summer never seems to be long enough for y'all, especially growing up. I remember that. It always seemed too short. But also, it means the beginning of some anxiety, fear for some of y'all, and stress. Some of those things coupled with excitement of also seeing your old friends and anticipation of meeting new friends and avoiding those ones that you had problems with the year before that you really don't want to have anything to do with this year. And you pray that they are not in the class with you this year. I have seen this all from a parent's perspective and from a teacher's perspective, so I know. So now that we've covered all those things about what being ready is and is for everybody right now, I want to talk about some ways that I can help you to maybe get you a little bit more emotionally ready and in a good mindset for that school year for teachers, parents, and students. So I'm going to give you some pointers on how to get ready. And I will leave this as a downloadable, printable thing that you can do so you don't have to take notes from me. I will put it in the comments and you can print it off, and I would love for you to have it. So if you do have something to write with and you are going to write, go ahead and get it out right now. And if you don't, just listen, and you can go back and listen to it if you're an auditory learner, or you can print it off after the episode. Are you ready? So number 1, take time and find a good planner. This is one of the things that I have seen over many, many years of working with many students and working one-on-one with people, is having a good planner where you can put everything in it in one place. During the school year, teachers, students, and parents have to keep up with tons of things. They have to keep up with a calendar and a schedule and homework and papers that have to be graded or papers that have to be turned in, trying to keep up with assignments, trying to keep up with athletics and outside curricular activities, all those things. So having a good planner where you can keep everything in one place is the best thing. This is good for everybody. So when I'm talking about that planner, take into consideration looking for one that has a calendar that has your days and your weeks and your months, a monthly calendar, a place that you can write assignments in, write lesson plans in for you teachers, a time map for the day where you can create a daily schedule and routine for yourself or your family, a place to doodle and brainstorm, maybe extra sheets of paper that you can do that on and take notes on, a place for resources, and a place where you can write down things like school internet information or course information that has to have a password, those kinds of things. When you get a planner that you can do all those things in, it is amazing. So there are a few planners out there that look like that, but I also myself personally created a planner like that, and there's going to be information below in my podcast and on my YouTube channel for that planner if you're interested in looking at it. But find you a good planner, whether you look into the one I have or you look into other ones, make sure they have some of those things in them. Okay, number 2, plan out a daily routine for yourself. This is really important. Everybody needs to have a daily routine for themselves. And I know a lot of you out there think, well, I have a daily routine. I get up in the morning, I brush my teeth, I jump out of bed, I get dressed, I run out the door, I come home, I watch TV, maybe do a few chores, then maybe I'll do homework or I'll do lesson plans or I'll do this or that. But it's kind of chaotic and you really lose a lot of time that way by just thinking in your mind that you have it all planned out. One of the things I've found for me personally is to have a planner, have a daily routine, and have a time map where my time is written out from the time I get up in the morning until the time I go to bed at night. I have used this with many students over the years, and I've used it with my own children, and I use it today. I use it with a lot of adults that I coach and work with that are ADHD or struggle with executive function organization. So it's great to just help people keep things organized. You can look at what you do every morning, having your routine. And when you go home, go to work or come home from school every day, then you can block off time to do homework, off time to rest and take a break, but then do homework or do extracurricular activities. But it gives you an idea of where you're utilizing your time better, and it makes your brain not feel so chaotic when you're trying to remember everything that you're going to do. So that's number 2, create a daily routine. Number 3, this is important, very important today because we have so many people that are dealing with anxiety and depression and stress. So take time to plan ways that you can settle your anxiety or stress throughout the day. This goes for teachers, parents, and students. In the school setting, it's really good to think about that. What can you do in the classroom? What can you do in the teacher's lounge? What can you do to help you calm yourself down? So you can think about just sitting there where you're at and just taking some deep breaths. Inhale real deep and exhale just to help to calm your brain down. You can excuse yourself to go to the bathroom, students, or even teachers during a passing period, or going to the teacher lounge, just to be able to take some deep breaths to calm yourself down and kind of reset yourself. For students, to ask your teacher if you can go see a counselor. If you're feeling very overwhelmed and really anxious, you need to go and excuse yourself from a classroom. Or asking if you can just put your head down for a little bit to kind of regroup and take a deep breath. Sometimes in the school settings, there are resource rooms that students can go to that will accommodate them during a classroom period where there's not nearly as many students. It's not a crowded classroom of students, and you can de-stress and just kind of calm down and calm yourself down. There are students that can utilize that if they have ARDS, and teachers, you need to let students be able to have that accommodation or take the opportunity to do that if your school allows it, for them to just step out of the classroom or go to a resource room or study hall. Trust me, it helps to ward off conflicts with students, because when they're stressed and they're anxious, sometimes that brings on conflicts, and then people tend to get their emotions running high, and then there can be conflict. So teachers, think about doing that. And parents, definitely ask for that accommodation for your students. There are things also like stress balls, or being able to doodle on a piece of paper just to be able to draw to help calm yourself down. Those are all great things that you can do. So think about those things of what you can do and plan ahead of time of what that would look like for you to kind of de-stress and bring the anxiety down for you during your school day. Okay, last one is number 4. Take time to discuss how to handle conflicts and how they can be handled, or how you can respond to them. This is for teachers and for students and for parents. Conflicts and having problems with peers, whether it's teacher to teacher or teacher and student, or students having conflicts with other students, whether they're bullying them or they just have conflicts with them because another student doesn't like you, or any of those things. If we will take time to talk about how you might respond, or even role play these out, parents, with your students before they start school, maybe some of the things that they have already dealt with in scenarios that you can talk about, better ways that they can handle it, whether it's to go to a teacher or how to talk to another student to deflect a conflict, or going to an administrator, any of those things that they might do to help them to deal with a conflict. But teachers, on the other side of it, taking the time at the very beginning of the school year to teach your students how to value one another, that everybody is valued in this world that we live in today, and we all have a reason for being here and a purpose for being here. Whether we look different, we act different, whether we have a learning disability, a physical disability, a mental disability, or whether we just don't like the same thing as the other people do, how to accept people and value them for who they are. And teachers, you can model this in your classroom. You can role play things in your classroom of how to deal with the differences that students have and how to deal with conflicts when they come up. If you will do this at the beginning of the school year and take the first month of the school year to make it something that you do, and you can do bell ringers and other things that just are things that you can do to model this for your students and model this all year long for your students. The more you do this, it will cause a ripple effect in the school. I truly believe this. I have seen this happen. I have worked at charter schools. I have worked in public schools that were Title I schools. I have worked in private schools. I have seen this work in all settings of the schools, but you have to take the time to do it and be that role model and model those things. And you can even be a teacher in your school that starts a program in your school that can help this to just take a ripple to a wave in your school. Well, I believe that we can support each other and help each other doing this if you will step out to do this. So that was the last one on my list today. So I hope that these few things have helped you to be ready for the upcoming school year. I hope that it will make it a very successful one for you. And if you'd like to have more tips like these, I would love to help you with navigating this school year, students, parents, and teachers. So please stay tuned with me and leave me a comment in the comments section, either on my YouTube channel or here, and let me know what you would like for me to give you pointers on or tips on or to discuss more in my podcast for the upcoming school year. I would love to help with that. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode today and you have gotten some good nuggets from me today. I have really enjoyed being here with you today, and I am hoping this will start you off on the right foot, teachers, parents, and students. So thank you for joining me today, and please come back and join me next week. Be blessed, be encouraged, and until next time.